Welcome to Forensic Friday,
where we examine the intersection of true crime, psychology, and the heart of being human in the middle of it all.
We're getting our non-wiggles out. We're too tired for this, but we're gonna do it.
I haven't slept. Okay.
No, I know I haven't either. We haven't really slept. I got an IV tonight. We're all hanging on by a thread.
I need an IV.
Yeah. We should get one in Vegas when we get there.
Mm.
I'm gonna get one. You know they have good people there doing that. People are.
We still need to pick a show.
I know. I don't think we. First of all, our social media game. Apologies. We don't know what we're doing. If you're looking for an unpaid internship and you want to help us with social media, we'd appreciate it, and we're a good time. But
a good time.
We don't have money, and also, we don't know what we're doing. So
no.
But we were going to ask the people what show, but then I don't think we've posted anything in a couple weeks. Sorry, we're hanging in there. 10,900 followers. Woo!
Just know that's not our day job.
No moving the needle on that one. Not the last couple weeks. Apologies. Thank you to the 10,000 of you that are hanging in there with us. It will get better.
It will get better.
It will get better.
It's not our day jobs, guys.
It's not our day jobs, but we love it so much.
We do. I'm gonna jump in.
Get it.
Okay. So this case has been all over the news lately because the individual has recently been convicted. And so we're going to get into it here, but I'm going to just warn our listeners. This case is really hard.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning, especially if you're a mom or a parent.
You did a kid case? You never did kid cases.
I had to, I know.
Oh.
So painful.
Oh, God. Did he at least
Sorry.
I can't say it yet.
What?
Well, at sentencing, I'm like, was it bad? Did he get what he deserved?
Yeah.
Do they ever? Oh, shit. I think I know what case this is. I couldn't figure it out. But I'm going to hang in there. I'm just going to go with you. But this happens when I tell you about one. Sometimes like, you're like, oh, I think I know what this is. I think I know which one this is. And murderous.
Yeah.
It makes me real pissed.
Been all over the news. No, I can't, Janine. Yeah, it's bad.
We're not doing details, right?
Oh, hell no.
We're not doing any details. No.
No, I will skirt over what happened because it's important to know the severity, but I will not go into details or anything like that. Sorry, my cord was tapping the table. Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, no, I will not be going into specifics, but just like there'll be enough detail for you to know what happened in terms of what you would know watching the news.
Oh my gosh, I was just real quick texting with Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, bye, forensic friend.
Aww.
Love her. She's so great.
She's so great. Okay. So before we get into the whole case, I'm going to read something for you.
Is it going to make me big mad?
No. Well,
okay, good. Not yet. I'm going to have a sip of water. I had an IV, but I'm still hydrating.
So you remember what Olivia Goncalves said to that asshat?
Kohlberger, when she was like, you're nothing. And you know that song, You Ain't Shit and Your Daddy Ain't Shit. And
yes.
It was that.
But better.
Bam. Throat
pump. But better than the song.
Absolutely.
So this is that energy. Okay.
Oh, I want to hear it.
So after Tanner Lynn Horner was sentenced to death on May 5th, 2026, a victim impact statement was read aloud in a courtroom by Athena Strand's uncle. He looked at the man who killed his niece and said, I want you to know that you are nothing. You are a footnote in Athena's story. Her name will forever be remembered. Her name will forever be celebrated, and everyone will forget you.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
So that's where we're starting today, and that's where we're going to end.
Mm-hmm.
This is the story of a 7-year-old girl from Paradise, Texas. A Christmas package, a FedEx driver, and a family and community that refused to let her death be the whole story.
Mm.
This guy, I would, Janine, I can't even tell you.
Well, there's no words. There's just no words. It's like that one chick we covered who showed up at court
and shot the guy.
Like,
no, there's a lot of.
You can understand that, I think, in cases like this, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of TikToks that show that scene in that court case in the 80s or whatever, whenever it was. We covered that case, so I'm sorry I'm not getting the year right. But yeah, no, that scene comes up in this type of stuff of like, you know, this guy's lucky.
Yeah.
That he's getting what he's getting.
Yeah.
So, Miss Athena Presley Monroe Strand, was born on May 23rd, 2015. She was 7 years old when her life was taken from her on November 30th of 2022. She lived in Paradise, Texas, which is exactly what it sounds like. A small, tight-knit town northwest of Fort Worth where everybody more or less knew everybody. This was the kind of place where a missing child doesn't stay a local matter for long. It becomes community emergency. Here's the thing. Athena loved Barbie dolls, okay? This is a really important detail about her because the package that brought her killer to her door that afternoon contained Barbie dolls for her for Christmas. Like a box, like it was like a box full of like 5 in one. I know.
Could she see that they were Barbies?
No, she did not. She didn't see the box.
He just told her it was Barbies?
That became evident later.
Got it. Okay.
Because it was her Christmas present. So it was just in a box being delivered.
Oh, okay.
So she never got to open this box. In the weeks after her death, the color pink became synonymous with Athena. School districts across Texas asked students to wear pink in her honor. Her community held vigils and mourners showed up in pink. On what would have been her 8th birthday, May 23rd, 2023, North Texas communities were encouraged to wear pink again to mark the day and say her name. So this makes me want to cry. That's who we're talking about today.
Sweet baby.
A little girl in pink who deserved so much more than what happened to her.
Oh, yeah.
This story kills me. It literally is so terrible. Sorry, listeners.
That's okay. It's real. There have been a lot of people crying over this case. It's unthinkable.
Oh, yeah. I would kill this guy. So, we're going to get into what happened. And again, we're not going to go into crazy details because that's not giving her the justice that she deserves. No. And it's giving too much credit that this fuckface, sorry, Tina, does not deserve. So,
no.
On the afternoon of November 30th, 2022, a FedEx delivery driver named Tanner Lynn Horner, 31 years old, arrived at the Strand's family home in Paradise to drop off a package. The package, as we know, contained Barbie dolls, Athena's Christmas gift. What happened next is the subject of a year-long legal case. Mountains of evidence and testimony that left jurors in tears. Hence, why we're in tears.
I know.
Going through this case. Horner claimed that So Horner claimed in his initial account that he accidentally struck Athena with his vehicle, with the FedEx truck that he was driving, while backing up. and that he panicked, placed her in the truck, and things escalated from there. Investigators and prosecutors spent the entire trial dismantling that version of events. And this guy, Janine, idiot. Idiot. The evidence they argued pointed to something far, far, far more deliberate.
Yeah.
What we know from this investigation and the trials are, after Athena was taken, she was alive inside Horner's FedEx truck for some period of time, probably close to like an hour. She was not silent, she was not compliant, and she fought her little ass off.
You little badass.
I know. So there's dash cam footage from inside the truck. That's
the only thing I saw. I didn't know the story. I knew about the truck, and I saw just the image, not the video, because I can't watch it.
I accidentally clicked on the video for like
that happened to Charlie Kirk too. I'm
like, I didn't accidentally click on anything.
I'm not asking for any of this.
No, but I accidentally clicked on because I was looking for something in the trial because I watched some of the trial. And it showed I didn't stay on it for more than literally maybe a second. And I didn't see too much. You hear a lot, but I didn't even stay. I couldn't, there's no way. I saw
her little self, looking like standing straight up.
Yeah.
Looking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can tell. I mean, it's a tough little cookie.
Yes. So again, I'm not going to go into details. I don't know if he like forgot and then remembered because he's
that is to take out, Karen.
Okay. Fine, Garrett, take that out. So I don't know if this ass hat.
There you go. Ass hat's good. We could roll with ass hat. We are anymore.
Remembered if the dash cam was there or not, but at some point he did. So.
Oh, he's like, oh, I'm on candid camera. Being a psychopath,
Yes. So dash cam footage inside the truck captured what happened. Again, we're not going to get into all that. There's audio recording and everything. Okay. So moving on from that. However, in the audio, Athena can be heard asking Horner directly, this little 7-year-old child alone in a truck with her kidnapper says, "Are you a kidnapper?"
Oh.
She also went into, and I don't have this I couldn't find the exact quotes because, again, I heard this in the trial when I was watching it or listening to it while I was driving. She also, I believe, said something along the lines of like, my dad will find you or my parents will come find you, something along those lines. Something about her parents and whatever. So she's just like standing there like, you're an ass and I'm going to fight.
I'm going to tell you who you are and then I'm going to fight like hell.
Exactly.
What a tough little girl.
Yep. So at one point she did ask him why he took her. I'm not going to go into that. So she is just this little badass, right? Athena was reported missing. Just so you guys know, I'm skipping, again, a lot of the details about her injuries and what happened to her. If you really want to know, you can go look at the news. Athena was reported missing by her stepmother that same afternoon. Police traced the last known delivery to the Strand home back to Horner. When they brought him in for questioning, he confessed, like immediately. And then led investigators to where he had taken her, near Fort Worth. Okay. Also, what I will say, so what's interesting a little bit about her history. So she was with stepmom. So she was staying with her stepmom and biological dad for the summer. She normally would go back to stay with her mom. Well, they decided as a family that she would stay with dad and stepmom, I believe, to go to school there. Well, dad left, I believe that day, or maybe previous evening or something, sometime pretty close to all this, for a hunting trip. And so stepmom was the only one watching her. And then she also had a newborn, half sibling that was in the home, right? But as I mentioned, this town is small and everyone knows everyone, and there's very little to no fear for kids to be outside playing in their own yard. Okay? Does that paint a picture?
Yeah, it does. It reminds me of when my brother was little. He left our house to come find me at school, and he took off. Like, my mom thought he was napping, and he was maybe like 5. Like, he wasn't school age yet, but he was like close. And he had to be under 5. We moved here at 5'4" maybe. And he took off. My brother's brilliant, and he took off and tried to go get me in school. And he's just walking down the road, and I mean, they finally, luckily, I think it was a couple of nuns, I think, saw him and flagged down the police, and the police he was able to tell the police where his house was, even like point and stuff, and they got him home, and my mom just like collapsed, but she didn't know he was out of the house. So first of all, kids in a safe area go out and play, but also kids sometimes will just like wander out. I mean, you're not at this stage yet, but it's a little wild.
No, I know. I'm
Fine.
terrified. Oh my gosh.
No, I know. But like, my mom has said so many times, she's just so thankful that a kind person saw him.
No, yeah, I'm terrified for that stuff. And I'm glad he's okay.
Well, and Mac's out playing all the time. Now Mac's as big as you, bigger than you.
Right.
And finally, but like it's really scary.
It is scary.
And as a parent, you do your very best to keep your kids safe, but our kids should be able to go play. Like, it is not a parent's fault if a kid's playing in the yard. Like, it's this offender, this psychopath. I don't actually know his history. I'm not diagnosing him. I just, go with my gut. Really, it all the blame is on them. But as a parent, I can't think of anything worse.
No, yeah. So this idiot, the day after the murder, Horner sat at home and Googled pictures of Athena Strand, missing posters, crime scene photos. He searched Paradise Missing Girl, and he searched, do FedEx truck cameras consistently record?
Hell yeah, they do.
Yeah, you idiot. He knew what he had done, and he was already trying to figure out if he had been caught. So, Janine's face.
Well, it's what do they call that? A glower? I'm glowering.
Yeah.
What kind of stupid motherfucker doesn't know that the camera in his own fucking truck is going to pick up the whole thing?
We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Southeast Counseling Center. Southeast Counseling Center is a 501c3 nonprofit mental health provider right here in Parker, Colorado, conveniently located just off major highways. We serve the whole family, from play therapy for kids to couples and family therapy, trauma treatment, psychological testing, and specialized groups. Access matters. That's why Southeast Counseling Center accepts Medicaid, TriWest, and victim compensation, and also offers a community subsidy program to help people who fall in the gap between Medicaid and traditional insurance coverage. And because we're a nonprofit, every dollar donated by the community goes directly towards providing treatment services for people who need help. Prefer to meet at home? Telehealth is available statewide, so anyone in Colorado can access our services. To get started, call 720-842-5553 or fill out our secure web inquiry form at secounseling.org. Southeast Counseling Center, care that is accessible, compassionate, and rooted in the community. No, I know everything.
Have the day you deserve, sir.
And plus some, please. Plus some. So a little bit about Tanner Lynn Horner. He was born on August 8th, 1991. He was working as a FedEx delivery driver. Not directly for FedEx, though, but for a subcontractor called Big Topspin.
Mm-hmm.
When he found and killed Athena. What emerged over the course of the investigation and trial is a portrait of a man with a documented history of predatory behavior towards young women and children, a history that predated Athena's murder by nearly a decade.
Shut up. He was already in the system?
Already in the system for similar behaviors. Obviously not the same severity, but predatory behavior. So in December of 2022, Horner was charged with 3 additional counts of sexually assaulting a minor related to 3 separate incidences from June, August, and December of 2013, nearly 10 years before Athena had been killed.
How old was he when that happened?
So he was born in 91.
And that was in when?
2013. Oh God, I can't do math.
21?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was a sex offender. Like, was he a registered sex offender driving a FedEx truck?
I don't know if he was, I would assume he was a registered sex offender.
Well, now I got to Google that because they should not be in trucks driving around. You hear me? I'm looking that up right this minute. Oh, no.
So while Janine looks that up, she's going to report back. During the sentencing phase of his trial, 2 women testified that Horner had sexually assaulted them when they were 16 years old in 2013 and 2014. Horner was in his 20s at that time. One woman testified that Horner gave her alcohol so she would be too intoxicated to consent, and that when they were dating, he instructed her to lie about her age and to tell people she was 18. The second woman said Horner assaulted her in her sleep, despite knowing she was not interested in him like that. She came forward after seeing news coverage of Athena's murder. Both women said they regretted not reporting him sooner. So he might not have been registered at that time.
He was not, because what I'm seeing is that he didn't appear to have a criminal history. And they're blaming mental illness.
Yes, that's a big deal.
Possibly fetal alcohol. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
And then lead exposure, that's a new one. Does lead exposure turn people into sex offenders? That I do not believe.
Yeah, that was the difference.
Now, fetal alcohol can lead to impulsive, inappropriate behavior. But lead, massive amounts of lead, that's interesting. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
So the other cases you referenced, those are things that he had done but had not been charged with.
Correct, because they did not come forward.
They didn't come forward until after this happened. Got it. Okay. So he was not a sex offender driving around a FedEx truck, to be clear.
Yes, no.
Okay.
And then there was testimony from one of Horner's own cousins who alleged that Horner sexually assaulted him twice during his childhood and adolescence. The same cousin also revealed something that stopped you cold. Horner had told him that he wondered what it would feel like to kill a person.
Did he do anything with that information? Listen, if you tell me, anybody, this goes for anybody, any of our 10,000 followers, anybody else, if you tell me that you're wondering what it would be like to kill someone, we're going to have quite a convo. Yeah. And it might involve more than just me and you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like psych hold, police.
We work with people who have scary thoughts. That's a thing we can work with. You got to do something with that information. Like, honestly, there are signs. It's rare that there's not any kind of a sign.
Yes. Yes.
That wasn't even a sign. That was a direct statement.
Right.
Oh.
He told someone that, and somehow none of it was enough to stop what happened to Athena. So as you're saying, all these things happened. He said crazy shit, and he's driving around a FedEx truck, assaulting kids and women, and his male cousin.
Mm.
So here's the question that really remains. What would it have taken for the system to intervene before Athena became his victim?
Okay. I mean, is that question?
Yeah.
Okay, here's where I'm at. Here's the thing.
Janine's pissed.
Here's the thing. We need, and Colorado's made a little progress in this in terms of like extreme risk protection order with firearms, okay? But when somebody makes a statement that's deeply concerning, almost like safe to tell kind of situations,
Mm-hmm.
we need to be able to get in there and assess people. And I know we protect their rights. We protect people's rights in this country. We don't just institutionalize people. And there's a lot of value to that because the system was really shitty back in the day. They would just like chuck people in institutions. So it's good that there's a process. But
Mm-hmm.
based on what I'm seeing, and I think you're going to get into more of the diagnosis, but based on what I'm seeing, if there had been an intervention at that point, he was bent then. There
Mm-hmm.
were major issues happening. And if you had gotten the right kind of eyeballs on this person, where the laws have to shift is they probably would have said, go to therapy. Well,
Mm-hmm.
this person may or may not be amenable to therapy, which is something that Nat and I actually screen for, right? Any forensic therapist, we
Mm-hmm.
often evaluate, is this person even amenable? Can they get
Mm-hmm.
anything out of treatment? And the answer usually is yes, at least a little, but sometimes it is no. There are times. And if they're not amenable, then we need to have a plan to keep the community safe. And that may mean containment in a mental health facility. And in this case,
Mm-hmm.
we find out way too late sometimes that people are really severely compromised psychologically.
Yep.
But we gotta intervene different.
Mm-hmm.
We really do. And people
100%.
people knew this dude was not okay. Not just his cousin.
100%.
People knew. Now,
Yes.
I'm not saying that his victims, the survivors of previous assaults, needed to come forward. That's not the message. The message is, if you have a weird ass family member who's saying things like, I wonder what it'd be like to kill someone, those are the people that probably need to do something. If you're on social media and somebody starts posting weird stuff or nebulous homicidal statements about their former, their ex-girlfriend or something, we've got to do something with that. It's right there in front of us a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
There are signs, and we are terrible at predicting actual violence, but we are getting better and better every day at predicting the potential for violence. And so, if the potential's there, we need to get people in there to figure out how much of a potential is there. And in
Yeah.
this case, it was really freaking high.
100%.
How do you preserve individual privacy, liberty, the things that are important to people in our country, with also the safety of the community and our children?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's tough. I mean, I think you and I don't know how to say this. I think the easy answer in my brain is if you know something or see something, say something or
Mhm.
experience something, right? But I know it's not that easy, especially for survivors to do that. But I think, the more safety we can create around systems and for people who do come forward, the more prevention we're going to have. You and I just covered a case where there was not enough victim survivor safety that was
Mhm.
she was asking for it and it wasn't provided. And so I don't know if our system isn't going to provide safety for survivors to come forward, then survivors aren't going to come forward, right? And
Absolutely.
we need people to come forward, or again, whether they see something, hear something, experience something, we need people to come forward and also know that they're going to be safe when they do that. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
we're not going to be able to prevent things like this.
We'll be right back.
If you work with court-ordered clients, you already know the system can be overwhelming. Documentation, coordination, compliance tracking, billing, on top of actually doing the therapy.
That's why we want to tell you about Reliatrax, a one-stop platform built specifically for therapists working in the court-ordered space and voluntary treatment. Reliatrax helps you stay connected with probation and referral sources so everyone's on the same page and your clients get the best care possible without the endless emails, calls, and paperwork. And here's the exciting part. Reliatrax now offers Aura, their new AI assistant. Aura helps streamline documentation, keeps you organized, and supports your workflow so you can spend less time clicking boxes and more time doing clinical work. Reliatrax also supports insurance billing, including Medicaid, making it easier to serve both court-ordered and voluntary clients all in one system. No juggling platforms and no workarounds. And the other amazing thing is you have an actual team of people who can support you, not some automated system. If you're looking for a smarter, more efficient way to manage compliance, communication, and care, Reliatrax was built for this. Check out Reliatrax and see how it can support you, your clients, and the systems you work in without burning you out. You can go to www.reliatrax.com to get started.
And it is challenging. I think it's worth acknowledging the complexity of keeping folks safe because a protection order is beneficial for documenting a violation and taking something from a civil to a criminal court or getting somebody in front of a judge, but it is not the same as a bulletproof vest. It's, you know what I mean? It's just not, it's not always even worth the paper it's printed on. It depends on the situation. And so in the case we did last week where it talked about her requesting like witness protection and they were like, it doesn't really rise to that level. I don't know what the resources are to keep somebody safe, and it's typically all on them. Oh, this was a big okay, so I'm presenting at the diversion conference. I forgot about this. Well, I didn't forget I'm presenting. This applies here. So one of the things that I'm presenting on is in juveniles, right? How do we address the risk and keep victims safe in the community in the juvenile population, right? So even this scumbag McGee, okay, is 21, he was like 21 years old, right? When he was doing the shit. He was doing stuff as a juvie too. He's the type that might end up on diversion. First offense diversion. He smacks a girl's butt in PE class or something and he ends up on diversion. Well, in some of these cases, they don't always have victim intervention services. And also, it's typically on the survivor to make the changes to keep themselves safe, switch classes, switch schools. You know what I mean? Have a safety plan, change friend groups. Like that's just kind of how this happens. Right. And we have to just do better. And so I think if we're going to have people come forward, like you're saying, this person, I don't know much about him, but let's say he's super violent with his family. Okay, he's got some diagnoses that may align with that. The cousin may have been like, I'm not coming forward, it'll kill me.
Right.
And so if they go to the court system and they're like, hey, we can't manage him. We know with juveniles, and I did a lot of that work earlier in my career with there was a group home, and I did therapy for some of the kids in the group home with juvenile sex offenders. But I did like second contact. I didn't even understand that I was doing the equivalent of the second contact for a juvenile sex offender. I didn't fully understand what was happening. I was an intern. So I was like, oh, we're going to do art therapy. I don't know, whatever, and then you learn as you go. What I realized though, doing that work is how limited the system is in those cases where the families often try to get a little bit of help and just they can't get any help. And if they're scared of their kid, which I saw that quite a few times, if they're scared of their kid, the choice is a group home where they could be released, right, depending on their behavior and how they fit in that part of the system. Or they keep them at home and just try to survive it and white knuckle it until they're like 18. So this is why sometimes our foster care kids like get the boot at 18 and stuff, is the families are white knuckling it with not enough support.
Yep.
So I do wonder, based on some of the things that I've seen about his mother drinking and some of these allegations, what he was like, what he was
Yeah.
behaviorally like growing up.
Yeah. Well, I don't get far into that, but I do too.
Do you have his diagnosis?
I have some things that they say about it,
Okay, go for it.
and we can get more into it too if I don't have what you have.
Oh yeah, I don't want to get ahead of you. I think it's interesting though.
So, yeah, I mean, his history is really fascinating, and I'll have some on that, and then, I think you might have a little bit more. But justice in this case didn't come quickly. This is the thing. So,
Mm,
here's how the legal timeline unfolded. So, December 5th, 2022, 5 days after she was killed, Horner was officially charged with aggravated kidnapping and capital murder. In February of 2023, a Wise County grand jury formally indicted him.
okay.
3 days later, District Attorney James Stanton announced that he will be seeking the death penalty.
Okay.
In March of 2023, Horner pled not guilty, which I believe was the insanity plea.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, what's his defense? Because we have video and
Yeah,
all
no,
the
I
things.
believe it was an insanity plea.
Okay.
This September of 2024, Horner requested a venue change
Oh no.
from Wise County. A judge granted it, moving the trial to Tarrant County.
So his thought was he would get a more fair trial somewhere else because of the community.
Correct.
Okay.
March of 2025, the trial was originally set to begin on March 17th. 2 weeks before it was supposed to start, it got postponed, pushed back a full year to April 7th, 2026.
Oh.
That delay is a year of waiting for Athena's family,
Oh, that's terrible.
a year of reliving the whole thing, and a
Was
year
he
of
in custody the whole time?
yes,
Mm-hmm.
and a
I
year
would
of
think so.
knowing. Oh yeah, there's no way that
Mm-mm.
that shithead was getting out. A
Mm-mm.
year of knowing that the trial hasn't happened yet. So they're just, I mean, they're just in pain. They're in agony. December of 2025, a 2-week pretrial hearing is held to assess evidence and procedural matters. In January of 2026, Horner's defense attorneys file a motion to take the death penalty off the table, arguing that his autism spectrum disorder
Mm.
significantly reduced his moral responsibility. Judge George Gallagher denies the motion 1 week later.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, Judge George.
Well, and it's interesting because there can be real limitations to
Yes,
what people can do. The risk obviously is like with the Slender Man chick.
right,
You look out for real mental health, but then they let him out.
right.
That's a fear. But
Yeah.
um that's really interesting. And like you said, the precedent stuff is, I don't know what it is in these cases. It'd be interesting. Maybe that's something I'll dig around to find another day. But
Yeah.
these kind of cases set precedent for
Yeah.
these situations. And there's 1 million people with, that's not an exact figure, there's millions of people with autism spectrum disorder
Yeah.
that don't do any of this crap. So, like, that doesn't explain, none of the diagnoses alone explain it. There's no, like, explanation for sexual offending behaviors. There's complexities, just like with DV. There's a bunch of complex factors that come together,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and it's still a choice to take that next step.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I won't get into what I'm thinking, but
Mm-hmm.
based on him,
Mm-hmm.
he's driving a FedEx truck.
Mm-hmm.
He's very capable
Oh yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
knowing what's right or wrong, despite his diagnoses.
Mm-hmm. I
So
would agree with that.
there's very much choice, and he knew what those choices were.
Mm-hmm.
On April 7th, 2026,
Mm.
the very first day of trial, Tanner Horner pled guilty to capital murder and kidnapping. The
Okay.
sentencing phase began immediately.
Okay.
So, what the jury heard. Okay, get ready.
Mm-hmm.
The prosecution presented DNA evidence matching Horner to Athena's body. Okay,
Mm.
obviously.
So he pled guilty. Is this just what the jury heard leading up to him pleading guilty? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Um, I believe no, I believe this was the sentencing for death penalty or not.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Because there was
I
a
gotcha.
jury for death penalty.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
They played the dash cam footage and the audio recording, which again is horrible. There was more than an hour that was played.
Can
I
you
have,
imagine being on
I
that
have,
jury?
no, I was literally just gonna say,
Mm-mm.
you and I joke sometimes. I've wanted to be on
Yes.
a jury. I've wanted, I almost made the team one time,
Yeah.
but because of what we do, well, they will never have us stay. I could never be on a jury like this, ever. I don't even know how they keep people on a jury like this because there's gonna be bias. I mean, I don't know how there isn't.
Well, and we just had a training where not a training, but we had a meeting with our team about vicarious trauma and secondary PTSD, and we did an episode talking about it a little bit too.
Mhm.
That is the most traumatizing crap. I don't know how you could sit on a jury and hear and see the things that those people hear and see and not have really long lasting consequences.
Oh,
And
100%.
then that makes me wonder, like, do they offer the
Therapist?
jury like therapy
Therapy?
services?
Paid
Like that, they
for?
pay you like $20 a day to do jury duty. I
Yeah,
doubt
they're
they're
not gonna pay for your
therapists.
therapy.
But that is like a genuine consideration that I haven't thought a ton about.
Same. Give me 2 seconds. I need to plug my computer in if I have my charger.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Oh, I don't know if I do have my charger in here. And trying to think of where I might have left it. Okay, well, let's just keep rolling and hopefully my computer doesn't die.
Oh yeah.
They showed another video the day after the murder while Athena's family and police officers were around searching for her.
Mm.
Horner drove past the search party. A member of the group told him a young child had been abducted, and he looked at them and said, "Are you serious?" Strand's father testified about what the loss had done to their family. He said Athena's sister was in therapy suffering recurring nightmares about what she had heard about what had happened to her sister.
Mm.
She asked the court to make the right decision.
Mm.
District Attorney Stanton told the jury that Horner had told lie upon lie upon lie. So from day one, I accidentally hit her. I freaked out. The defense
Mm.
came in. So Horner's defense team came in and presented a difficult portrait of his life. So as you just dove into,
Mm-hmm.
a mother who abused drugs and alcohol during pregnancy,
Mm-hmm.
an unstable and neglectful childhood, cognitive difficulties in school, diagnosis of autism, Asperger syndrome, ADHD, bipolar disorder, and depression.
Mm.
Horner himself testified that he wasn't himself. he testified that it wasn't him who killed Athena, it was Zero, an alternate personality living inside of him. Officials from the Department of Public Safety confirmed Horner had mentioned Zero during police interrogations, but forensic psychologist I'm going to butcher his name, Eric Imhoff, testified that he found no evidence of multiple personality disorder. There was no Zero. There was only Horner. Multiple personality disorder, also known as DID, is the most common go-to for the insanity plea.
Yeah, I
One of
saw many
the-
opinions about this.
Yes. Forensic psychologist Kim Spence agreed that while Horner may have met criteria for an autism diagnosis, it did not drive him to kill Athena Strand. The defense urged the jury to sentence him to life without parole. Yeah, fuck off. They argued that the prosecution hadn't proven he had been a future danger if imprisoned. I'm sorry, that's not true. The jury highly disagreed. Thank God. So that's the sentence. On May 5th of 2026, Judge George Gallagher sentenced Tanner Lynn Horner to death following the jury's unanimous recommendation. The jury found that Horner was a continuing threat to society and that there were no mitigating factors sufficient to justify life in prison. He had since been transferred to death row at the Allen B. Polunsky unit under Texas law. He is entitled to mandatory appeals.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think they do mandatory appeals for death row. I mean, he's on his own damn camera, so I'm not,
Right.
But, I think they do an automatic appeal in death penalty cases.
Yeah. A process that legal experts say could take years before any execution is carried out. For Athena's family, the wait continues in a different form. So, here's where the story shifts. Because Athena's family, her parents, her community, decided that her death was going to mean something beyond a courtroom. In the week after the murder, more than 20 school districts across Texas organized pink clothing days for their students in Athena's honor.
Oh, I love that.
I know.
Every day is a pink day in my world. Athena.
Love her. Vigils were held in January of 2023. Toy company Mattel donated 2,000 Barbie dolls.
Love.
And other toys to Cook Children's Medical Center in Fort Worth. A gesture that honored who Athena... I'm going to cry again. Who Athena was and what had been taken from her.
Yeah.
On May 23rd, 2023, what would have been her 8th birthday, North Texas communities were encouraged again to wear pink. I'm going to wear pink every fucking day this week.
I know. Athena, we're going to wear pink every day.
Every day for a month.
Yep.
To say her name and to remember. Athena's Alert, a law that bears her name. In April of 2023, Athena's mother took her grief to the Texas legislator. She advocated for a new kind of localized alert for missing children, one that will fill the gap that currently exists between an Amber Alert, which requires evidence of abduction, and no alert at all. The idea was simple and urgent. When a child goes missing and something feels wrong, even without confirmed evidence of abduction, communities should be able to be notified faster. The bill was called House Bill 3556, Athena's Alert. It passed the Texas House in May of 2023. It passed the Senate, and Governor Greg Abbott signed it into law. Athena's name is now on the books in Texas. Her death created a tool that may one day save another child's life. That's huge.
No, that is huge. That is huge.
And that is a mother turning her worst thing that ever happened to her into something that protects all families. 2 weeks after the murder, Athena's father filed for a civil lawsuit against Tanner Horner, FedEx, and Big Topspin, the subcontracting company that directly, sorry, I'm checking my computer so it doesn't die, employed Horner for negligence in causing Athena's death, seeking for more than $1 million in damage. The lawsuit raised a question that doesn't have an easy answer. When a company's contractor commits a crime on the job during a delivery in a company vehicle, what responsibility does the company bear? What screening should have been placed? What was missed?
That's such an interesting question for us because we work with people with records. We don't do sex offender work. But there is a little bit of crossover, at least in the adult domain, with DV and sex offender behavior, because people often engage in sexual offending with their intimate partners or other people as part of a power and control dynamic. So we do come across this a bit, not with minors, because that's not our area of expertise. I have a lot of respect for my colleagues in that area because they do really, really, really good work. And there's a million ways for people to get involved in this system. There is not one assessment that anyone would ever do to become hired with no criminal record that would pick up on the potential for this.
Right.
And
So,
no.
Well, I think what's hard, I mean, it's hard. I understand where the family's coming from, and I also understand why it is a massive question.
It's a huge question. I understand it totally, and I think we do have to think about the people. So here's what I will say: this is a weird dude. I'm sorry.
Yes.
There's no world in which this guy comes across. This is not even like a charming schmoozy psychopath. This is a weird dude. There's things that were wrong.
He should never be people facing ever.
Now, that being said, we talk about neurodivergence. And so you can have people who might come in for an interview and they don't make eye contact. That doesn't mean they're a psycho killer. It means they might struggle with eye contact, or they may struggle socially a little bit or whatever. But I think, and there's a little bit of this in my book, but it really, where I learned it, was Gift of Fear by Gavin DeBecker.
Yeah.
If you're sitting in an interview, and women pick this up better than men, we've talked about this with probation officers before. Why is there maybe a man who the group is kind of chill with, but we don't feel safe?
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? It doesn't happen all the time, but it has happened. And by the way, we talked to probation and they go, female PO, something's wrong. Something doesn't feel right. And so I think it's about trusting that.
Yeah.
And I think in a workplace, if there's any documented issues at all that look like a safety issue, we have to be responsive to those things, which we don't always do, particularly when your job puts other people at risk. If you're a driver, okay, kidnapping is like probably not on their radar, but they are in a really intense capacity in the community, from a driving perspective, from a interacting with animals and people, and you know what I mean? So like, I mean, probably there should be some decent screening. Would it have picked this up? Probably not. I mean, they're not going to do probably an MMPI for a delivery driver and that wouldn't pick up on violent risk necessarily either.
Right.
But they have access. It's scary. And it's the same with Uber and Lyft and
I
you know, I
know.
mean all
It's
of these
all
things.
it's all a lot. Yeah.
You know, but I think that the family, this thing that happened is just horrific, and I think they should go to the bottom of the well and figure out what did they know when, because that's part of the lawsuit. Was this an issue? Was this man an issue? Had there ever been an issue before? He didn't take a break from weird behavior. Like there were things happening. There were signs. There were signs.
Yep. Yep.
You know.
100%.
Mm-mm.
Well, and I want to zoom out
Mm-hmm.
because cases like hers, like Athena's, don't exist in a vacuum. They exist
Mm-mm.
inside systems, right?
Yes. Yes.
Systems that sometimes fail, as you and I talk about all the time,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but that we also have the ability to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, one, child safety and employment screening. Horner had a documented history of predatory behavior towards minors. So, even though he didn't have,
Where was it documented? That's my question.
I know, I couldn't find that part, but the things, the allegations against those two women were not documented, but these were. So, behavior that began nearly a decade before Athena's murder. He was employed in a role that brought him to people's front doors, right? So, like I said, someone like him should not be people facing.
So if there was documented that the employer knew history of him being inappropriate.
I don't think they did a background check.
Well, he didn't have a criminal background.
You're sure?
Yeah. Well, that was in the article that I saw. Hang on, I'm gonna look it up because then you'll know how liable that company is gonna be.
Right.
I think it's really powerful that that provider went on the record saying he faked the alter with the dissociation piece. Also, statistically, he's more likely to be a psychopath than have DID anyway. Okay, so it came out mostly, it looks like, through, by the way, I don't know that he survives to death row, to be frank. They're going to kill him in prison.
100%. They'd probably have to put him in solitary or in his own.
They can try, but they're going to get him.
Or they put him with other sex offenders.
Even then, though. It's going to be bad. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's interesting. If there was documentation of any sort, and I'm talking protection orders, any of that kind of stuff, then he should not have been driving a truck in the community. Like, we got to have
I
somewhere, but I don't think it was.
Or I wonder if something got sealed.
That's possible. Something got sealed. Or, and this is the other thing, if there's anything inappropriate that happened while he was employed, anything. He got out of his truck and talked to a kid in somebody's front yard or someone uncomfortable at work. That would be documented, not in a criminal sense.
Yeah.
But that would make them liable.
But I'm thinking, I'm wondering if maybe something got sealed, so the type of background check that's run for a FedEx driver isn't. It's a CBI, like what you and I run. You know what I mean? Like,
and you can't get all the way in.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's part of it. But it's saying that there was documentation. So there was documentation somewhere. They just either didn't have access, or like you're saying, it wasn't criminal. It was just complaints, right?
That's another unpopular opinion that I have. I think that sexual offenses and protection orders should be visible forever.
I agree with you.
Forever.
I agree with you. And strangulation cases, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree with that too.
Like Joe Petito said, there should be a registry for strangulation.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I'm thinking about the Petitos as we're talking about this because there's a family also, you know, that took something so tragic and horrible, and they're trying to do as much good as they can possibly do in her honor, and it's incredible.
Oh yeah, it's their life mission, which is amazing.
I'm really excited. We're going to be booth buddies with them at CrimeCon. Like, we're close to them, and they're such great people. Oh yeah, he's got it. He's got it.
Sorry, Gator. I tried
It's
my
been a day of interruptions because we did a mini earlier and our friend comes busting in, which was hilarious.
Oh my goodness. Yes, my computer just died. But we're back on.
We're back on. She's back.
I'm gonna end this well.
Yes, you will.
So, as we mentioned, Horner's on death row. But legal experts note his appeals process could take many, many, many years, which you and I just talked about. For Athena's family, there is no clean ending at all. Only ongoing legal proceedings, ongoing headlines, ongoing exposure to the case that already has cost them everything. That is the cost we don't often name, but we really should. So, Miss Athena Presley Monroe Strand. Little, she's not 7. She wouldn't be 7 now, but 7 at the time. Little 7-year-old, born on May 23rd, 2015, in Paradise, Texas. She loved her Barbie dolls. She wore pink, and we're going to wear pink for months.
Oh, we do anyway, but now we just do it for
Now we're just going to do it for you. She was 7 years old, and she was brave enough in the most terrifying moment imaginable to look her kidnapper in the eyes and ask him, "Are you a kidnapper?" Because of her family's refusal to let grief be the end, her name is on a law that may one day bring a missing child home safely and faster. Because of her community's love, thousands of students across Texas wore pink in her honor. Because of a courtroom in Tarrant County, the man who killed her will never be free again. Athena's uncle had it right. You're a footnote in Athena's story. Her name will forever be remembered. Her name will forever be celebrated. And everyone will forget you. We will not forget her. So, I'm going to wrap us up with some resources.
Yeah, absolutely.
National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. You can go to missingkids.org or call 1-800-THE-LOST.
That's a great organization, and we see them at CrimeCon.
Yeah.
And they work tirelessly to help families.
Yeah. RAINN, RAINN. This is a resource for sexual violence support. So rain.org, or you can call 1-800-656-HOPE. Numbers are 1-800-656-4673. Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline. You can call 1-800-422-4453 and learn more about Athena's Alert and child safety legislation in your state. I'm going to do this for Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Colorado, I gotta tell you, Colorado is pretty active about things like this. And I was in a meeting a couple months ago, 2 months ago, and they went through all the pending legislation in Colorado. And there's some good stuff. And you know, it's never perfect when it first gets drafted. They have to get in there and work on stuff, but there are good things. There are good people fighting for good things everywhere in the midst of tragedy, always.
Yep. So I have to say thank you to this family for fighting for children's safety, because you and I both have children. And I am thankful that they were able to take the literal most horrifying experience and turn it into advocacy, just like the Petitos did. I hope I putting me in a similar situation, I don't know if I could do the same. But I'm really thankful for the people who use their grief for hope and increased safety and justice.
Mm. Well, and I think that's so beautiful, Nat. And we say, if you see something, say something, call, intervene. And we say with intimate partner violence, don't physically intervene yourself necessarily because it may not be safe.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a kid, lay that motherfucker out. You know what I'm saying? Like, just,
Right.
you know what I mean? Run him over with your car. I mean, assess. But if some kid is like, I'm being kidnapped, or they're pulling away, like, we're done here. Like, it's a wrap,
Yeah. No, game over.
you
Game
know?
over.
Game
Game
over.
over.
And I think that by and large, I do think our communities value our children. And so I love, love, love that they're doing this work. I think that's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. So, Miss Athena. I'm wearing hot pink tomorrow.
Hot pink, girl.
Hot pink. Wear hot pink with us. Send us pictures wearing your hot pink for Athena.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for bringing this case, Nat. I know this was a tough one. It's tough for everyone, but I know it's
Mm-hmm.
especially tough for you with the little girl.
Yeah.
Good work, buddy.
I have a Mama Bear shirt that I got my two sisters-in-law and myself. It's from Dude Dad, which I love him. He's so funny.
Yeah.
And it says Mama Bear, and then I gotta read it. It says mess around and find out, and it has a skull hand.
Oh, totally.
So aggressive.
So aggressive.
But I love it.
So accurate.
Yeah. So anyway, well, thank you for listening. I hope you guys got through this one. Again, this one is really hard, but it's really important, and
Mhm.
and it's so important to continue to advocate for our kiddo safety. So I know it's tough, but I hope you were able to get through it and give it a listen. So as always,
Bye, forensic friends. I'm Janine.
And I'm Nat.
And as always, thanks for listening and join us next week for more crime, psychology, and heart.